Hello everyone and welcome back to this series of tutorials on the Speedwell weather data tools. My name is Nick Hammond, I'm Head of Marketing here at Speedwell, and the purpose of today's video is to take you through some of the charting tools that are available via our Map Tool interface. Now the Map Tool just provides a snapshot of what is available to non-subscribers in the sense that you can analyze the inventory and the range of sites available. And it also provides access to the tools some of which we're going to look at today, which allow you to interrogate the data, and that's obviously for licensed Superpack or forecast Superpack subscribers. Now today, for the purposes of the demonstration, I've selected a series of sites based around Russian winter wheat, and we're going to take the cumulative Russian winter wheat index as our example site today. And what I'm going to do is take us through 4 of these different tools which are available at the bottom of the screen here. So the first one I'm going to demonstrate is, in fact before I go into this I should reiterate that it's best to use Chrome or Firefox with this functionality. The system does work well with Internet Explorer, but there are some versions which of course slow down, so I'd recommend Chrome or Firefox for usage of this. So going back, the first one that I'm going to demonstrate today is actuals versus average. So I'm going to click on this button here. And what this is going to do now is generate a graph and underlying data set for us. You can see the index selections in the top of the screen here, via which you can change things like the site, the country, the weather elements, the date, etc. So as you can see here, the chart defaults to rainfall. I can change that, as I said, if I would like. Now, what the graph is showing is how rainfall has accumulated relative to the historic average. So this historic average you can see with the red dotted line, and you can see the actual index performance on the brown line. So you can see really how things have compared historically over time. And for each day there you will get there an index value, and you can generate these values, download them into Excel, and then perform your own additional analysis should you so choose. Okay, so that's the actuals versus average tool. I'm going to shut that screen down, come back to the original Map Tool interface, and the next one that I'd like to show is called Index Calc, so I'm going to click on that button. So this allows you to generate the cumulative value of any weather variable over any period. This can be applied to any specified customized period for any specified customized selection. So what I mean by that is, again, you can select the country and the site, you can change the weather element, you can change the threshold that it analyzes, you can change the start date and end date of the index. In this case we're actually taking a forward-looking index, so it's looking at next year using forecast, and of course you have to be a forecast Superpack subscriber to get access to this data, but you can also use this for historical data analysis as well. So here you can see, again, as you can see on the graph here and also on the data table, for every year the index value is calculated and the history is shown. And again, of course, you can download this into Excel. So shutting that tool down, if I come back to the original Map Tool interface, the next one I'd like to show is called Historic Monthly Values. So I'm going to click on that button. And this tool generates the monthly or weekly values for any index. It can be used to calculate the values of any particular index that you specify. So for instance, if I use an example of critical days, so let me set a critical event threshold of 0 for temperature, and of course this defaults to rainfall, so what I'll need to do is change that to temperature average, and just click on calculate button. And what that then does is look for freezing days, so critical events below 0. And it's crucial to mention here that should you be looking for a different period, so the rolling period by default here is set to monthly values, you can actually change this. So if you're looking more at, say, retail based analysis, you could change this to weekly values. So change that selection, hit calculate, and what that will then do is give you a different output for every week. And again, of course, this is all downloadable into Excel. So let me shut down that tool and come back into the final tool I'd like to demonstrate today, and that is the cone chart. So if I click on cone chart here, so this tool puts the accumulated value of any weather index into a historical context. It defaults to cumulative rainfall, as you can see, and that's for a set period, but this can be changed, of course, as in any of these tools. You can change the weather element, you can change the index type, you can change the data quality. In this case, we're actually utilizing forecast data. If you're a Forecast Super Pack subscriber, you will have access to this information. You can actually do things such as changing the supplier of the forecast. So say you wanted to change from an ECMWF model to a GFS one, you can do that here as well. And then you'd simply recalculate to calculate that value onto the chart. So looking at the chart here, let me just break down what each of these lines represents. The currently selected index is in black here, and you can see that it's the one just here. And as you come through this, you'll be able to see the actual end of the line comes into a purple line, and that purple line represents the forecast element of what we're charting here. So if again you are a Forecast Super Pack subscriber, you will be able to implement the accrued index with a forecast element at the end to show you the impact going forward. The blue line here, which is the one at the bottom, represents the lowest historical level of the index, and the red line at the top here shows you the highest historical level of the index. And finally, what you have here as well is this silver line, and what this silver line represents is the last year, the previous year, so you can compare the previous year to the present year. And also, of course, you have there an average line as well, which is illustrated by the green. So that really completes the demonstration for today. I think that shows all of the tools in their right context. If you did get some value out of today's session, I would encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please stay tuned for future tutorials.